For today's video, pag-uusapan natin ang 7 defensive stocks that consistently pay dividends. Worth it ba na isama ang mga stocks na ito sa ating portfolio? Let's find out. Defensive stocks are companies in sectors gaya ng utilities, telecommunications, and essential services. They provide everyday necessities, kaya even during economic slowdown, tuloy pa rin ang kita nila dahil basic needs ang products or services that they offer. Before I continue, quick shoutout muna sa mga bagong YouTube channel members ko. Kay Terence Roque, NKKDLSY, Andrew, Sam, Merlinda, Starbly, Louie, and Jeffrey. Maraming salamat for joining as channel members and supporting my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your support. Let's start with Meralco. Sino ba naman ang walang Meralco bill kung nakatira ka sa Metro Manila o sa nearby provinces? Homes and businesses need it daily, kaya defensive talaga siya. Hindi mo pwedeng i-cut ang kuryente tulad ng subscription sa Netflix, Spotify, or YouTube Premium pag gusto mong magtipid. Here's the consolidated core net income breakdown ng Meralco for the year 2025. Ang total core net income ay umabot sa 50.6 billion pesos, up 12% versus 2024. Regulated distribution makes up 58% of Meralco's total core net income, up 6% versus 2024. Ito ang stable core, regulated and predictable kahit flattish ang sales volume. Power generation ay 33% of total core net income, up 52% versus 2024. It's growing fast dahil sa reserve market at expansions, and others at 9%. Meralco has paid dividends for 28 years, and over the past 10 years, dividends have grown. And since 2021, steadily growing ang kanyang dividend. Ang 3-year compound annual growth rate is 16%. Dividend yield at the price of 638 pesos is 3.93%. Bumaba na ang dividend yield kasi ang taas na ng price ng Meralco. But the good thing is consistently growing ang kanyang dividend yearly. April and September ang payout schedule ng Meralco. Mas mataas ang April payout niya kaysa September. Earnings payout ratio ay 62%, which is considered healthy. Mataas nga lang ang debt-to-equity ratio ng Meralco at 96.04%. It's still acceptable para sa utility kasi regulated at stable ang earnings niya. At ang ganda rin ng interest coverage ratio at 10.6 times, meaning kayang-kayang bayaran ang interest ng 10 times over pa, lalo na with Meralco's strong earnings growth. Meron din siyang cash na 89.72 billion pesos. Next is Aboitiz Power, another major player in the power sector. It's a defensive stock because power is essential, hindi siya cyclical. Meron siyang 4 na main pillars: power generation, power distribution, retail electricity services, and distributed energy. Aboitiz Power has a well-diversified portfolio that includes various renewable sources such as geothermal, solar, hydropower, and wind. This strong mix enables the company, together with its partners, to be the Philippines' largest renewable energy power generation company in terms of installed capacity. Hindi sila direct distributor sa Metro Manila kasi sa Meralco ang Metro Manila, pero malakas sila sa Visayas at Mindanao. In terms of revenue contribution, 51.4% ay from power generation, 27.5% naman from power distribution, and 21.2% from parent company and others. Wala pa ang full year 2025 earnings report ng Aboitiz Power as of the making of this video. So let's look at the performance on the first 9 months of 2025. Sa revenue, sa first 9 months ng 2025, down 2.7% year-on-year. Pero sa third quarter alone, revenue is up 9.2%. So, strong rebound sa third quarter. Sa net income naman, down 14.6% sa first 9 months ng 2025. Pero sa third quarter alone, tumaas ng 4.8% versus same period last year. Ang core income or recurring income for the first 9 months of 2025 is also down 15.1% to 23.1 billion pesos year on year. The company said the decline was due to lower WESM or wholesale electricity spot market prices, plant outages during the first half of 2025, and the full period recognition of the depreciation and interest expense of GN Power Dinginin. Growth outlook has improved following the ramp-up of its renewable energy capacity expansion initiative. Consistent na nagbibigay ng dividends ang Aboitiz Power for 18 consecutive years. Since 2021, bumilis ang growth ng dividends niya. Ang 3-year compound annual growth rate is 17.4%. So mas malaki ang increase sa dividends in recent years. Aboitiz Power pays annually. March ang payout schedule niya. And dividend yield at the current price is 5.37%. And healthy pa rin ang dividend payout ratio niya at 57%. Kaya lang mataas ang debt-to-equity ratio ng Aboitiz Power, nasa 136%. Okay lang ba pag ganito kataas? This is still acceptable for a utility company gaya ng Aboitiz Power. High debt is common for utility stocks kasi utilities like Aboitiz Power are capital intensive. Kailangan nilang mag-invest ng bilyon-bilyon sa power plants, transmission facilities, at infrastructure upgrades. Hindi ito kayang i-fund lang using cash on hand ng kumpanya. Kaya gumagamit sila ng debt financing para pondohan ang expansion projects nila. Especially kung long-term naman ang assets at stable ang cash flow nila. Ang importante dito ay kaya nilang bayaran ang utang nila through consistent cash flow at hindi affected ang dividend sustainability. Ang interest coverage ratio is 2.6 times, which means Aboitiz Power's operating income can cover its interest expense 2.6 times. So may buffer pa sila. And meron din siyang cash na 62.62 billion pesos. Pangatlong stock is FGen, First Gen Corporation. FGen is clean energy champion. Bagay din sa defensive portfolio. Sa ano ang special kay FGen? Malakas sila sa clean and renewable energy, gaya ng natural gas, geothermal, hydroelectric, wind, and solar energy. In terms of revenue breakdown, biggest contributor is natural gas at 64.5% ng total revenue nila sa first 9 months ng 2025. Geothermal, wind, and solar contributed 30.8% ng total revenue. Hydro at 4.2% and others. Wala pa ang full 2025 earnings as of the making of this video. Total revenues for the first 9 months of 2025 ay down 3.3% due to lower prices and expiration ng San Gabriel contract sa natural gas, plus slight dip sa geothermal prices. Pero hydro is up 56%. Maski nag-dip ng 3% ang revenue, tumaas pa rin ang net income sa first 9 months ng 2025, up 4%, at sa third quarter alone, up 1.8%, versus same period last year. Mas efficient ang cost at tumaas din ang earnings contribution ng hydroelectric segment. Consistent din na nakapagbigay ng dividends ang FGen for 15 years. And over the past 10 years, nag-grow ang dividends niya at a compound annual growth rate of 8.6%. Kailan bumaba ang dividend noong 2025? Ang dividend per share ay down from 0.9 to 0.8. 3-year compound annual growth rate is 1.28%. So maliit lang ang growth niya. FGen pays semi-annually. June and December ang payout schedule niya. Usually equal amount. Ang dividend yield at the price of 18 pesos is 4.44%. Mababa ang dividend payout ratio niya at 19%. So malaki ang nire-retain for expansion and growth ng kumpanya. Mas mababa rin ang utang ng FGen with debt-to-equity ratio of 58.49%. Meron din silang strong liquidity position with around $892 million in cash. Maganda rin ang interest coverage ratio niya at 4.8 times, which means kaya nilang bayaran ang interest expense almost 5 times using their operating income. So overall, mas conservative si FGen sa pag-utang. Pang-apat na stock natin is MWC, Manila Water Company. After power, punta naman tayo sa water sector. Tubig is life. Kaya kahit may recession, kahit mahina ang economy, tuloy pa rin ang paggamit ng tubig. MWC operates under regulated tariffs, which makes its revenue more stable and predictable. Another growth driver is their expanding customer base in the East Zone with continuous urbanization, new residential developments, and business establishments na dadagdagan ang service connections. Kaya consistent din ang volume growth. Now, tignan natin ang full year 2025 performance ng MWC. Consolidated operating revenues ay 40.2 billion pesos, up 10% versus 2024, primarily driven by approved tariff adjustments within the East Zone concession. May strong contribution din from their business units outside Metro Manila, up 6%, driven primarily by positive tariff adjustments in Clark, Boracay, and Estate Water. Dagdag pa dito ang sustained growth in billed water volumes. Ang net income attributable to common equity holders is up 50.5% to 15.8 billion pesos from 10.5 billion pesos noong 2024. Tumaas ang profit margin ng MWC to 39% versus 28% noong 2024. Consistent din siyang nagbigay ng dividends for 21 years. Nag-skip nga lang siyang magbigay ng dividend noong 2020 and then nag-resume ang payout noong 2021. In 2021, Enrique Razon gained majority voting control which allowed him to effectively run the company. And from 2022, consistent na nag-grow ang dividends every year. Over the past 10 years, nag-grow ang dividend at a compound annual growth rate of 9.5%. And mas mabilis na ang growth the past 3 years. 3-year compound annual growth rate is 48%. Kaya lang once a year lang siya nagbibigay ng dividends. March ang payout schedule niya. Dividend yield at the price of 41.2 pesos is 4.47%. Dividend payout ratio is 38%. So very healthy ang kanyang payout ratio. Mataas din ang debt to equity ratio ng MWC. Nasa 138.6% with cash of 6.92 billion pesos. This is common sa utility companies tulad ng na-discuss natin earlier sa power segment. Capital intensive kasi ang sector. Malaki ang upfront investments para sa kanilang infrastructure. Regulated ang tariffs at essential ang tubig, hindi pwedeng mawala. May steady cash flow siya na pang-support sa debt payments. Mataas din ang interest coverage ratio at 7.4 times. So kayang-kaya niyang bayaran ang interest ng kanyang utang. Next stock natin is Maynilad Water Services. Just like MWC, Maynilad is also a defensive stock. Pero ang service area nito is the west zone of Greater Metro Manila, which also covers some parts of Cavite. Regulated din ang tariffs ng Maynilad, kaya predictable at stable ang revenues just like MWC. Bago pa lang ang Maynilad, noong November lang siya nag-IPO, kaya more than 3 months pa lang siyang publicly listed as of the making of this video. In terms of financial performance, Maynilad delivered strong results for full year 2025. Consolidated revenues increased by 9.4% to 36.6 billion pesos, driven by tariff adjustments and steady growth in billed water volumes. Consolidated net income grew 19% to 15.2 billion pesos. Tumaas ang EBITDA by 14.8%, showing improved cost management and operational performance. Maynilad attributed the improvement sa cost to savings generated from reduced NRW or non-revenue water. Mas kaunti ang tubig na nawawala sa leaks, illegal connections, or hindi nasasama sa billing. Kaya mas efficient ang operations at tumaas ang profit margin niya. Meron siyang dividend policy to distribute annual dividends of at least 50% of the prior year's net income or 40% of adjusted net income, whichever is higher. Even as a private company, Maynilad already distributed consistent dividends sa kanyang private investors. 3 months after its IPO, nag-declare na siya ng cash dividend of 1.14 pesos per share, payable on March 18. Annual payout din ang Maynilad, just like MWC. Dividend yield at the price of 21.35 pesos is 5.33%. And dividend payout ratio is 56%. Manageable na rin ang kanyang debt-to-equity ratio at 84.32% with cash of 26.79 billion pesos. Mataas ang interest coverage ratio niya at 11.5 times. Maynilad's interest payments sa utang niya are well covered by its income. So meron siyang enough liquidity to support its dividend policy. So next stock is PLDT. Ticker code is TEL. After power at tubig, sa telecommunications naman tayo. PLDT is the biggest telco in the Philippines. So bakit defensive ang telcos? Kasi essential na ang connectivity ngayon, parang kuryente at tubig, para sa work, school, family communication, banking, online shopping, entertainment, at business operations. Recurring ang revenue nila from postpaid plans, broadband subscriptions, prepaid load, and corporate data services. Monthly, meron tayong 3 bills. Laging present yan. Kuryente, tubig, at internet. Ito naman ang performance ng PLDT for full year 2025. In terms of revenue breakdown, 43% ay galing sa wireless consumer, 31% naman galing sa home, and 25% galing sa enterprise. Total consolidated service revenues ay 196.2 billion pesos, up 1% overall. Pero kung i-exclude ang legacy drag, plus 3% sa revenue versus 2024. Slightly down ang wireless, pero plus 3% naman sa home and plus 1% sa enterprise. In terms of income, telco core net income ay down 3%. Ito yung recurring profit mula sa core telco business only. Pero core income is up 1%. Yung Maya turnaround ang nag-boost ng core income. Maya's equity share contributed 716 million pesos in 2025. Pero reported income is down 7% due to lower gains from forex and derivatives, plus accelerated depreciation and amortization and MRP, maintenance-related provisions. PLDT has consistently paid dividends for 32 years. Yun nga lang bumaba ang dividend niya versus 10 years ago. And from 2022 to 2025, makikita natin na pababa ang trend ng dividends niya. So hindi siya dividend growth story. Twice a year siyang nagbibigay ng dividends. Ang payout schedule niya ay April and September. Dividend payout ratio is 68%. Ang taas lang ng utang ng PLDT. Debt to equity ratio is 230.36% with cash of 12.24 billion pesos. Okay pa rin naman ang interest coverage ratio niya at 3.2 times. PLDT's interest payments on its debt are well covered by earnings before interest and taxes. Capital intensive talaga ang telco companies like PLDT and Globe. Hindi pwedeng hindi sila mag-spend dahil kung hindi, maiiwan sila sa competition. Magandang tignan dito is kung saan napupunta ang utang nila. In the case of PLDT, ang utang niya ay for productive CapEx, gaya ng expansion ng fiber, network upgrades at digital infrastructure, which is expected to boost future earnings ng kumpanya. Ito naman ang CapEx chart ng PLDT para sa full year 2025 para makita natin kung paano nila minamanage ang kanilang utang at investments. Noong 2023, nasa around 85 billion pesos ang CapEx nila. Bumaba na. Noong 2025, mas bumaba to around 60 billion pesos. Ang CapEx intensity ay bumaba na rin sa 28% noong 2025. After PLDT, let's go to the other half of the telco duo, ang Globe Telecom. Same defensive category with PLDT. Malakas ang GCash ng Globe. Mas malaki ang user base at transaction volume niya kaysa sa Maya. Globe's network style ay more premium focused sa ilang segments. Ang PLDT naman has wider rural reach. For the full year 2025, operating revenues ng Globe ay down 1% year-on-year. Total service revenues ay 165.1 billion pesos, flat lang year-on-year. In terms of revenue breakdown, mobile ang pinakamalaki ang contribution at 71% ng total revenues. Cost and expenses ay down 3% year-on-year. This is good. Ibig sabihin, naging mas efficient ang operations ng Globe noong 2025. Core net income ay down 3% year-on-year and reported net income ay down 4% year-on-year. Pero sa fourth quarter alone, malaki ang improvement. Net income is up 6% while core net income is up 8% year-on-year, driven by strong mobile data and corporate data revenues and moderated expenses. Consistent din siyang nagbigay ng dividends for 24 years. Yun lang, para din siyang si PLDT. Wala rin masyadong growth sa dividends. Nag-grow naman ang dividends niya over the past 10 years with 10-year compound annual growth rate of 1.88%. Kaya lang negative growth over the past 5 years. And flat ang dividends niya mula noong 2022. Quarterly ang payout niya ng dividends. March, June, September, and December ang payout schedule niya. And equal amount, 25 pesos quarterly. Dividend payout ratio is 66%. Halos same sa PLDT payout ratio. DE ratio is 146.87% with cash of 25 billion pesos. Ang interest coverage ratio is 2.4 times. Medyo mababa siya compared with PLDT at 3.2 times. So nasa low end siya. Pero EBITDA margin is 53.1%, cash flow positive, at dividends ay well covered naman ng earnings. Kaya kaya pa rin niyang bayaran ang interest sa utang niya with 2.4 times coverage. This is expected to improve as CapEx normalizes. So yan ang top defensive stocks sa PSE. Lahat ay essential with recurring revenues, may consistent dividends. I have 6 out of the 7 stocks na pinag-usapan natin in this video. Meron akong stocks for dividend income and dividend growth para balance ang portfolio ko. Wala pang updated buy below prices kasi hindi pa kumpleto ang data. Just refer to my signature portfolio sa Dragonfly for my updated buy below prices. So alin sa mga stocks dito ang meron ka na sa portfolio mo? Comment down below.